Hey everyone, in today's video we're going to be looking at harsh light and 3 ways to deal with it. Alright, so let's dive into 3 ways on how to deal with harsh sunlight. I quickly want to do a disclaimer saying that direct sunlight isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes the tone of the video or the tone of the movie that you're making calls for direct sunlight, but in a lot of cases it's not really desired, so that's why we have to deal with it. Before we do that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you get notified when I make new videos. Method 1, the easiest one, the cheapest one, and that is to up your f-stop, your aperture. It's easy and it won't cost you anything extra. Just up the f number in your camera to make sure that your overexposed shot that is being ruined by direct sunlight looks better. And if you're coming from the photography world, you might be wondering why not just change the shutter speed, just leave the f as it is. Google the 180-degree rule and you'll know why. But obviously with a cheap and easy solution, there's bound to be some downsides. This one has 2 downsides. The first downside, and you'll know about this if you watched my first video, is that when you up your f-stop, you're going to eliminate those nice bokeh backgrounds. So not only your subject will be in focus, but everything behind it and in front of it as well. The second downside is that, as you can see, it took care of the overexposed shot, like it's properly exposed now, but you can see that on the face of the subject there are still very harsh shadows, which are a look that is sometimes desired, but not always, so it can be a downside. So you might be wondering, are there more elegant solutions to this problem? And yes, there are. There are 2 more elegant solutions to this problem. So let's start with the most expensive solution to this problem, and that is to use an ND filter. An ND filter is kind of like sunglasses for your camera. It's this piece of glass that you screw on top of your lens. Once it's on there, you'll see that without having to change the f-stop, we can still get the proper exposure. So we keep that shallow depth of field, but the shot is not overexposed. In my case, the original shot, I had to change it all the way up to f10. Now with the ND filter, I can keep the same shot at f2.8 with the same amount of light coming in. But like I said, ND filters are quite expensive. Besides the price, there's another downside to using an ND filter. You might have noticed that even though we keep that nice shallow depth of field, the subject still has those harsh shadows on the face. And again, this is a look that you're not always looking for. So let's take a look at a third method that is both cheap and will take care of those harsh shadows. And that third method is to use any kind of semi-see-through cloth, like a bed sheet. So you can use a bed sheet or like that cover that you use on your mattress, or maybe a towel that is kind of see-through, or a blanket. Any piece of cloth that is like semi-see-through, meaning that when a harsh light, like the sun, is pointing at it, light is still able to come through. So if it's like a thick blanket and it's just going to darken everything out, that's not going to work. You're going to want something that's kind of going to let through light. In this example, I used a mattress cover. Now, a mattress cover is a really good diffuser, meaning that it's really good at, well, diffusing light. And with diffusing light, I mean that all that concentrated light that is coming off of the sun and is creating those harsh shadows is diffused or scattered because of the sheet. And because of that diffusion, you get rid of those harsh shadows and those lines on your face become softer. Now, most pieces of cloth do a really good job at diffusing light, but they're still going to let through a lot of light. So in this shot, I still had to up my f from 2.8 to f4, which of course is a lot better than the original shot where I had to up the f all the way to f10. Alright, so that's the 3 ways to deal with harsh light, but as with many things in life and many things in general, the answer or the truth or the best way to do something is always somewhere in the middle. In this case, there's no difference. To get the best result, I would recommend using a bedsheet in combination with an ND filter. The bedsheet will take care of those harsh shadows on your subject's face, while the ND filter can make sure that you can keep that super low f. And as you can see in this shot, this is kind of like the best looking out of all the examples, at least in my opinion. Alright everyone, that was it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell button, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!